Hello, everyone. This is Daryl Cunningham, the online training coordinator at David H. Paul Incorporated, also known as DHP. Today, we're going to talk about the TCEQ requirements for reverse osmosis nanofiltration operators in the state of Texas, which was instated back in August of 2016. Just to clarify, this webinar is not certified training, and it's not going to give you any credits for TCEQ. Also, if you're a waste operator for TCEQ, this isn't going to help you either. This is only for water operators. So our main focus today is going to be to let you know about what training courses DHP has to meet the TCEQ requirements and how to use our online training system. So if you do not work with RO or nanofiltration units, then you're not going to have to meet these requirements. Okay, so it's going to be probably about a 30-minute presentation. We're going to do about 10 minutes of questions and answers at the end. So at any time during the presentation, if you want to type your questions into the questions box, we'll answer them at the end of the presentation. This presentation is going to be recorded, and it should be available on our website at dhptraining.com probably within the next 1 to 2 days. And after we're done, we're going to also send out a thank you email that's going to have a copy of this presentation in PDF form. So really, today, the purpose of the webinar is to provide a courtesy to you as reverse osmosis nanofiltration membrane operators in the state of Texas. By letting you know who the approved training providers are. And we're going to kind of introduce you to our online training system and teach you a little bit on how to use it. So I've created a small agenda. We're going to go over some introductions. We're going to talk about the requirements by TCEQ. We're going to go over the online training system. And then we're going to do a short question and answer session at the end. Okay, so first our introductions. A little bit about David H. Paul Incorporated. DHP has been training and consulting professionals in the reverse osmosis nanofiltration industry since 1988. We've trained over 20,000 professionals worldwide. This gentleman here is David Paul. He's the president, founder, CEO of David H. Paul Incorporated. A little bit about David. He has a Master of Science in Microbiology. He's been working with reverse osmosis nanofiltration systems since 1977, and he started off at what would now be considered a $300 million zero liquid discharge plant, and he's published over 160 papers and articles. And the reason I'm telling you about David is because David is also a content provider for our online training, so he writes all of the content that goes into the training that we're doing. A little bit about me. My name is Daryl Cunningham. I've been a software programmer for 25 years. 18 of those years have been with David H. Paul Incorporated. These are some of the jobs that I do and still do. And the online training system that we're about to show you is a system that I programmed. So if you have any problems or questions about the system at all, I'll end up being the one you talk to. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality and their requirements for reverse osmosis nanofiltration operators in the great state of Texas. So in August of 2016, TCEQ issued a new requirement for any operators working in reverse osmosis nanofiltration systems. This is the guideline. This is an excerpt from the guidelines that TCEQ has. I put a link up here to the PDF form, but basically it just states that anybody who's working in reverse osmosis or nanofiltration membrane systems must have operators that have completed an approved training course. So I don't know how many RONF operators out there knew about the change, but it wasn't stated in August 2016. And all operators in the field are supposed to have this training completed by September of 2016, which was then later extended to October. So if you haven't done the training, you might check in with TCEQ just to find out if the certifications are still valid, or if there's anything that you have to do to complete that. In the same document, it states that there are two providers for these courses. One is David H. Paul, which is us, and the other one is the South Central Membrane Association. We take care of the online training portion of things, and the South Central Membrane Association takes care of 8-hour workshops and seminars in various locations in Texas. So I've also put a link here for their calendar in case you'd just rather do things that way. So a little bit about DHP's online training system. We've just recently revamped the training system, so it's pretty new, a little excited about that. A few things that I'd like to note before I actually show you the system is that it can be found at our website at dhptraining.com. The first thing you're going to need to do is create a free online training account. And then there are a few ways to access the training. The most popular one would be to go through the web page, which requires that your browser supports WebGL. And in this case, Internet Explorer does not support WebGL, so our system will not work with Internet Explorer. However, we do suggest that you use either Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge, or Safari if you're using a Macintosh computer. Other ways that you can access it is we have standalone programs you can actually install on your computers for both Windows and Mac. And even though you install them, you'll still have to have internet access because all of the courses are done online. And then once you're inside there, you can purchase the courses from within the system, or you can go to our marketing page here at dhptraining.com/tceq.html. So what I'm going to do now is do a quick walkthrough of the system, teach you a little bit how to use it. Like I said before, the system is found here at our webpage at dhptraining.com. The first thing you'll need to do is create your account, which you can do by coming over here to the button on the right-hand side and going to create account for free. And you'll come up with this little form, just fill it out, finish create account, and then you're able to log in to the system. Like I said, there were 3 different ways to access it. One is the online training, and the other one is by installing it on Windows and Macintosh. For simplicity's sake, we're going to go ahead and just do the online training here so I can just step you through the system. Okay, and then it takes a second for it to load the first time. So there it goes. All right, so you'll notice the first thing that happens is it's going to ask you to log in again, which we'll do now. If you want to bypass this, you can click Save Login Credentials, and that way anytime you log into the system, then this will already be up and all you'll have to do is log in. You can also bypass the web page and come to this page directly and create your free account here also. And then we also have a button so that you can retrieve your login information if you've lost it. So if we go to login, this here is the meat and bones of the online training. Left side, we have our main menu. The reports basically is just a button that takes you to viewing the reports of any of the courses that you've already taken. You'll be able to see your scores on any exams that you've taken, or just check your status on your course. The edit profile is exactly that. You can just go in here, change your personal information, change your username and password. RO Specialist Store probably won't matter to you guys much unless you are doing this for reverse osmosis certification. because only those people who are certified with the Reverse Osmosis Specialist program will be able to get here. Then we have the help and contact. This is basically just a quick form that if you have any questions about the system or content, you can send me a direct email. And it's also got my contact information if you need to contact me. Discount code we only use if we're doing some sort of promotion at the time. Now the register course, this is going to be important here in a moment, but I'll need to show you first how to purchase the courses, and then we'll come back to this, okay? So the center here is the way to access the online training. You guys specifically are going to be interested in this TCEQ approved training. So if you click on that, TCEQ requires us to do a few little things before you go into the training. One of them is this qualifications. Basically, all this does is it gives you some information about us as the subject matter experts. That gives us the which basically says that we know what we're doing. This is what we're going to do to train you. So this button right here is just another link to the PDF file on TCEQ's website, just so that you can go back and look at it in any time. And what you guys are going to be interested in is this required training, because this is the training that was set up for the reverse osmosis nanofiltration system. This other training over here, you can use this to gain CEUs in Texas, so long as you're a water operator. But we're going to go to the required one. And as you can see, we have our 4 courses that are approved by TCEQ. They're all grayed out right now because we haven't purchased anything yet. So what you would need to do is come over here and add to cart. We'll do this first one, the reverse osmosis operation and maintenance. When you go and you add this to your cart, it's going to first ask you if you're purchasing for TCEQ. You're going to definitely choose yes, because if you choose no, then when you finish the course, we won't submit it to TCEQ because there's specific standards, specific things that you have to go through when going through our program. So if you click on yes, it's going to open up a shopping cart. Let's set this all up properly here real quick. Okay, so it shows you the course that you just added to the cart, the cost of the course, and then the quantity. Quantity is important because you can purchase this for more than just yourself. So if you have a number of employees, you can change the quantity, and that will add that many licenses for that training. Again, if you wanted to close out and add another training to there as well, that's also going to add to the shopping cart. So now we have 2 courses. 3 people can sign up for this first course and 1 for this second course. Then after this, you would go through the checkout process where you would actually purchase everything. And when you're done, you're going to get an email confirmation that looks like this. As you can see, we have the transaction number. We have the 2 products here. The number of licenses for each product, so we can sign up 3 people for this product and 1 person for this product. And then we have a registration code for each product. Also down below here are some step-by-step instructions in case you have other employees that you can give to them so that they can go through their registration process as well. So now that we have the registration codes, we would go back to our online training system. And unfortunately, using WebGL in the browsers, you can't actually paste your numbers here, so you have to type them in. And it's a long number. All right, so then once you submit registration, it's going to come up, and once again, it's going to ask you if you're taking the course for TCEQ. Make sure that you tell it yes. That's very important to do. Okay, so now that we've finished enrolling in the course, you can see here that one of the buttons has become white. It's showing that we're enrolled, and it shows that we have not started in the program yet. So in order to get to the course now, we just click on this button and it opens up our course outline. Now again, required by TCEQ, we have to do this identity verification affidavit, which basically just says you are who you are who you say you are. You are the one who's taken the training. That you understand that if you falsify any of this, that your license or anything can be revoked. So all you've got to do is agree to it. That's going to happen every time you go into this course. Again, that was required by TCEQ, so that's the way it works. A couple of other things that were required by TCEQ, we had to put up the software requirements, which basically just tells you what kind of computer you need for running the course. Prerequisites, which we don't actually have any prerequisites, but it was required by TCEQ that we put it here. Then we have the course objectives, which is just a quick outline of what you're going to see in the course. Now here in the middle, again, this is the meat and bones. The left buttons are your lecture material, and the right buttons are your exams for each lecture material. As you can see, the first one is the only one that's white, and again, that's because TCEQ wants you to go through each individual step to make sure that you go through the entire training for us to submit it for CEUs. So what we'll go ahead and do is we'll go ahead and go into the first lecture here, which is water contaminants.
Welcome to David H. Pollock Inc.'s Reverse Osmosis Operation and Maintenance online training course.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys were able to hear the audio in the background, but basically it's going to go through each slide. Each slide has some audio and lecture material. You'll see here that all these ones are grayed out. That's because you can't go to them yet, because you also have to go through each individual slide before you can go to the next. Once you've gone through a slide, you can go back to it, and then you can jump back and forth. But until you've completed a slide, you cannot move on to the next one. Again, this is required by TCEQ. So if we, you notice the button now is white, we can go to the next slide.
There are 11 units in this course.
Okay, so in this particular one, you're going to go through about 92 slides. Now, if you exit here and come back, it is going to see, we have to sign the affidavit every time. It is going to allow you to continue where you left off. So if you come in here, it asks you if you want to continue, you tell it yes, and it's going to go to the slide that you were on. So that's a good thing. So let's go ahead and exit out of here. You'll see now that because we got to sign the affidavit again. But you can see now that the practice exam now has been activated for the course. So if we go into the practice exams, it takes a second to load because it's loading all the questions. So we have the question up top, and we have our answer boxes down here, with the answers up here. We have answers, you can just click on them and go to your next question. And I'm just going to kind of do this randomly, so I probably won't do very good on this test. So do a quick answer all the questions. And then when we get to question number 10, you'll see at any time we can go back, re-answer any of the questions, or if we left any blank. If we cancel the exam, it's going to exit the exam. We're going to lose any work that we've already done. If we submit the exam, it's going to ask us if we're sure we want to submit. And I got a 31%. I told you I wasn't going to do that well. What it's just now done is it took the score on the exam and submitted it to our databases. So I just now received the score for this. So if we go to see exam, you can actually step through, you can see the answers that you chose and which answers you got correct. We're not going to tell you the right answer because you can take these exams a few times, so we're not going to give you the answers to all the questions. But if you step through, you know, it's showing you which ones I got right, which ones I got wrong. And then we can exit the exam by clicking Return to Menu. And again, it's going to do the affidavit. And you'll see now that the next course is opened up. So basically, you're going to do this all the way down until you get to the final exam. To let you know, all of the practice exams have to be passed for you to pass the course. You can take the practice exams as many times as you need. Then there's the final exam. You can only take the final exam twice. So you have to pass all the practice exams and you have to pass the final exam to complete the course. And once you complete the course, you'll contact me and then we'll submit the course to TCEQ for your CEUs. So basically, that is how the system works. I want to show you one more thing before we go. In the reports section, now that we've finally taken something, if you click on View Reports, it's going to show you all the lectures that you've been through. It's going to show you your status over here, which I'm doing horrible. But if you've completed it, it'll say that it's complete. It'll give you your score for the entire course. It'll tell you your result, which is going to be passed or failed. And when you're done, when you've passed, there'll be a button here that you can click on that will actually allow you to download your certificate of completion for the program. You can also see down here are the exams that you've taken. We've only taken one. I didn't do so good on it. If you click on it, it's going to show all of the ones that you've taken, so you can go back and review each one that you've taken. So if we click on that, basically it's going to open up the system like it did before, shows you what I scored on there, and then again it's just going to step through it so that you can see what you needed to study before you move on to another exam or whatever. So that is basically how the online training system works. So what I'd like to do now is, we'll do a little conclusion here. So basically, we've covered a few things here. We've talked about the requirements for reverse osmosis and nanofiltration operators by TCEQ. We've gone over a little bit on how to use our online training system. You can get to our online training system by going to our webpage at dhptraining.com and creating a free account. If you have any problems with the online training, or you need help, or you have problems with content, or just have questions, because we can contact our instructors if you need them, you can contact me directly at this email address, or you can call at this phone number, and about 90% of the time I'm going to be the one who answers the phones here. So I'm kind of also our receptionist. So also, this is very important. When you are done completing a course, you need to contact me to let me know that you've completed the course so that I know to submit it to TCEQ. And you'll also need your operator license number, so that I can submit it to their database. And after it's submitted, it normally takes about 24 hours before those credits show up. And just to reiterate one more time, these courses are approved for water operators, not wastewater operators. So if you are certified as a wastewater operator, unfortunately our courses aren't going to help you. But if you are certified as a water operator, they will. So any of these online courses, even if you're not a reverse osmosis nanofiltration operator, any of these courses will still give you hours for CEUs, so long as you're a water operator, not a wastewater operator. Okay, so with that, I kind of like to open up the floor to some questions, any questions you have. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them into the questions box. And what I'll do is I'll read them out loud and then try and give you an answer. If we don't get to all of your questions within the allotted time, or there's some questions I can't answer that I might have to talk to TCEQ about, I'll answer them via email. Okay? So with that said, let's go ahead and start our question and answers. Okay, so question number one is if we sign more than one operator on the course, will that matter if it's under just one person's sign-in account? Yeah, you can purchase, like I said, what you're purchasing is you're purchasing the licenses for those. So if you sign up a number of licenses, what each individual person who you give that license to, they'll create their own online account. Now we do have it set up so that you as a supervisor can monitor their accounts. But what they'll do is they'll create their own online account. You'll give them that number, and then when they log into their system, they'll put that number in, and it will register. It will enroll them into the course, and then one of your licenses being taken, and you'll only be able to give that license out to however many other people that you're licensed for. So if you had 3 licenses, now you will only have 2 licenses to give to other employees or to use for yourself. Did that answer your question? I hope it did. So I don't have any other questions yet. Yes, that did answer the question. Great, wonderful. So if anybody, I'll sit here for a moment. If anybody else has any questions, feel free to ask. And I'm hoping that this webinar helped you guys out a little bit, because we know that a lot of people were questioning. Or not questioning, but they didn't know about these requirements. And these requirements were set 2 years ago. So we're out. What we're trying to do is make sure that you guys know about it. And obviously, we're hoping to, get some accounts out of it too. So, is there a time frame for completing a course? No, there's not. With us, with the courses, you've got as much time as you need to take them. We prefer you take them within a year, but no, you guys are able to take these courses at your own pace. You can go back to them, and even when you're done with the courses, you can go back to them at any time to do research or anything like that. So I hope that answered your question. So far those have been the only 2 questions I've gotten. I'm hoping that means that I did a good job and didn't confuse you guys. How many of these courses do you have to take to satisfy TCEQ? Just one, basically. Our courses, the requirement is for 8 hours. Our courses, the smallest one is 11 hours. So when we do submit it, we submit 11 hours to TCEQ for you. We also have 2 of the courses are 11 hours, and 2 of the courses are 40 hours. So, and when I say that, I mean each course, the OLC 117 is 11 hours, OLC 116 is 11 hours, and then the TB 102 and 103, each of those are 40 hours. So, that's how many hours were. You're welcome. Thank you. So does anybody else have any more questions? Does DHP offer hands-on training in a classroom? Yes, we do. The training will not be approved for CEUs through Texas, but yes, we do hands-on training. In fact, we're one of the few companies in the world that do the kind of hands-on training that we do. We actually will take you into a plant. You will go in there and work on RO systems. You can do probing, profiling. So yes, the answer is yeah. What is in the 40-hour courses? The 40-hour courses, they're kind of our older training. We had at one point had a on-campus program for new hires. And what is in those 40-hour courses, I mean, it's got things like we go over, some of the water treatment biology. We go over chemistry. Then most of it is going over reverse osmosis and membrane technology. We go through troubleshooting membranes. We go through analytical data. It's really quite extensive, and the 40 hours of that is only a piece of that training that we used to provide for those on-campus programs. They were actually part of our books that we did there. So they're still available. Each course was, or each book, each of those 40-hour courses was a quarter of that book. So I hope that answered your question. If you fail a test, how many times can you retake it? Like I said, if it's the practice exams, you can take those as many times as you need to. If you fail the final exam, you can take it one more time. So you're only allowed to take it twice. But if you go through every one of those practice exams and you study those practice exams, there's absolutely no reason at all you shouldn't be able to pass the final. So did that answer your question? You're welcome. Okay, right now I don't have any more questions yet, so I'll wait a couple more seconds because we did say that the presentation came, we finished a little early on the presentation, so I'll give you guys a couple more minutes to ask any questions, and if we don't, then I'll go ahead and we've got some polling questions at the end that I might ask you guys to take a look at just to give us an idea of how we fared on this webinar. I still don't have any questions, so I guess then what we'll go ahead and do is oh wait, nope, I just got one more. Are there classes of certification and or licenses for this field? This is for this field. Classes of certification. Oh, for RONF. Are you talking about classes that we provide or TCEQ certifications? I'm not quite sure what you mean. Okay. Yeah, there are, I hope I'm going to answer this correctly. Like I said, all the online training that I just showed you, those are all available for TCEQ for this required training. If you're talking about seminar classes for this training, yes, they are. They are done through the, let's see if I can't bring it back here on my slides. They are done through the South Central Membrane Association. They do 8-hour workshops across different locations in Texas. And I've provided on the PowerPoint, when you guys get a copy of the PowerPoint, I went ahead and put their calendar up here too. They are one of our direct competitors, but we want to make sure that you guys get any chance that you can for this. So we don't mind giving out our competitors' information as well. So here's a link to their calendar. I'm hoping that is the question that you had asked me. So yeah, there's that. So okay, well, I think that we've kind of come to the end of the questions. Certification in RONF. Now we offer a certification in reverse osmosis nanofiltration. It's not a state certification, it's a David H. Paul certification, and it's more for industrial water treatment. We are, I believe, and you may not want to quote me on this, but we are the only ones who provide that type of certification for industrial water treatment. So, and if I didn't answer your question correctly, why don't you go ahead and shoot me an email, and maybe we can, elaborate on the question, and I can maybe get you a better answer. I can talk to some of our instructors and to our, to David Paul himself, and see if we can come up with a better answer for you. All right. Okay, I'm going to wait a couple more seconds just in case another question comes in. Because in all honesty, we still have 4 minutes if we needed it. So. All right then. I still don't have any more questions, so I'm going to go ahead and close out the webinar. I really appreciate you guys attending. I hope it was a benefit to you. We really want to make sure that you guys out there, keep your certifications, and that that we're here in case you need us. And we will be putting out new online training that hopefully will be getting approved by TCEQ. And we may even start working on some with less hours. And if there's a need for it, you guys let us know. Feel free to email me at any time. My email address will be on the presentation that I send you, and I will also send you guys all a thank you email. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and run some polling questions, and then we'll go ahead and shut out of the webinar, okay? So thank you guys again for attending my webinar, and you guys have a nice day.